On the edge of Albuquerque, New Mexico, the desert stretches endlessly. From a distance, it looks peaceful. The sun paints the sky in warm colors. The air is dry. The wind is steady. But beneath the surface of the West Mesa, the desert was hiding something. For years, families searched for their daughters, their sisters, their loved ones. Women who had vanished without explanation. Rumors circulated, but there were few answers. And then, in 2009, 11 women were found buried in shallow graves. To this day, the case remains unsolved. The person responsible is known only by a haunting name: the West Mesa Bone Collector. On February 2, 2009, a woman named Christine Ross was out for a walk with her dog. Her dog ran ahead and returned carrying what looked like a bone. At first, Christine thought it might belong to an animal, but when she looked closer, she realized it was too large. It looked human. She called the police. Investigators arrived and soon confirmed her fears. It was a human bone. When they began to dig, they uncovered more. Over the following weeks, the excavation revealed the skeletal remains of 11 women buried in shallow graves across a desolate stretch of land on Albuquerque's West Mesa. The discovery horrified the community. For years, families of missing women had begged for answers. Now their worst fears had come true. Buried on the mesa were not strangers to Albuquerque police. They had all gone missing between 2001 and 2005. Most were young. Most were Hispanic. Many had struggled with addiction, and some were involved in sex work. For years, their disappearances were brushed aside, but here, on the mesa, their stories converged. Their names were Jamie Barella, only 15 years old, Monica Candelaria, 22, Victoria Chavez, 26, Virginia Cloven, 24, Cinnamon Elks, 32, Doreen Marquez, 27, Julie Nieto, 24, Veronica Romero, 27, Evelyn Salazar, 27, Michelle Valdez, 22, who was pregnant with a baby girl. That unborn child was counted among the dead. Each of them had a life. Each of them was loved. And now they had been found together in a place meant to silence them forever. Members described these women as more than the labels society placed on them. Some were mothers, raising children. Some were daughters who had drifted from home, but still called when they could. Others were sisters and friends who were deeply missed. Many struggled with poverty. Some battled addiction. Some turned to sex work to survive. But none of these circumstances defined their worth. When the news broke, families gathered at the site. They brought flowers. They held vigils. They wanted to make sure the women weren't remembered only as victims of a serial predator, but as people who had dreams and who deserved to be safe. Quickly realized this was the work of a serial killer. The scale was too large, the similarities too consistent. The women had all disappeared within the same time frame and from the same city. The press gave the unknown perpetrator a chilling name: the West Mesa Bone Collector. Detectives combed through missing persons cases. They pieced together timelines, searching for overlaps. They spoke to families, friends, and acquaintances, but they faced a daunting challenge. The desert had erased nearly all forensic evidence. Years of sun, sand, and wind stripped the remains of clues. There were no fingerprints, no DNA, no clothing fibers left behind. One name rose to the top of investigators' lists: Lorenzo Montoya. Montoya lived less than 3 miles from the burial site. He had a disturbing history of violence against women. He was known to hire sex workers, sometimes luring them into dangerous situations. In December of 2006, Montoya invited a young woman to his home. When her boyfriend arrived to check on her, he discovered Montoya strangling her. In the struggle that followed, the boyfriend shot and killed Montoya. After Montoya's death, the killings on the West Mesa seemed to stop. Many detectives believe he was the bone collector, but because he died before the bodies were discovered, there was no way to test that theory. No hard evidence, no confession. Montoya's death may have ended the murders, but it also may have buried the truth forever. Montoya is the leading suspect, but he is not the only theory. Some investigators believe the murders could have been connected to organized crime, tied to drug trafficking and prostitution networks. Others have pointed to men with histories of assault and violence who were active in Albuquerque during the early 2000s. A few suspects were questioned, but no charges were ever filed. With so little physical evidence, detectives faced a wall of dead ends. The case grew cold, and the desert remained silent. For the families of the victims, the discovery was bittersweet. After years of searching, after years of unanswered phone calls and missing posters that faded in the sun, they finally knew what happened. But knowing did not bring justice. The killer had not been caught. The investigation stalled, and the families were left with grief, but no closure. Every year, loved ones gather for vigils. They light candles. They speak their daughters' names aloud, ensuring they are not forgotten. And they wait, still, for someone to come forward, for a tip, for a confession, for something that will end this silence. The West Mesa Bone Collector case remains one of the darkest unsolved mysteries in New Mexico's history. 11 women and one unborn child were taken from the world. And to this day, we do not know who was responsible. Perhaps the killer is already dead. Perhaps he is still out there, living quietly, carrying his secrets with him. The desert remembers. And until the truth is uncovered, the wind across the West Mesa will always whisper with unanswered questions. If you want to continue exploring haunting mysteries with me, please like this video and subscribe to Whispered Crimes. Together we can honor the victims and keep their stories alive. Until next time, stay safe and sleep well.